welcome back. It is now Vlogmas day 11. As you can see, I have procrastinated very hard on getting this up today. I'm still working on the editing process. So it is currently 8:15 p.m. on the 11th, so hopefully we can get this up later tonight. I should be able to. I'm done editing this part, just need to film the intro and outro. But I said this was going to be the October wrap-up, or October haul, because I really thought I already filmed the October haul, and I have not. This is actually the September haul. I am horrendously behind, so I still need to film my October and November hauls. But surprisingly, October and November for me, I actually did, I think, pretty well. I think I got the same amount of books in both those months that I did in all of September. So yeah, but to just finish this little intro here, I'm going to open the day 11 advent calendar from Book Gizmo. And this is what the package looks like. It does look like I am getting, or feel like I'm getting wax melts. That's just what the package feels like. So I'm interested to see if I'm right. So we got some wax melts. I was right. It's Little Mouse Bookshelf. Every locked door has a key, and they look almost like galaxy-esque. They smell like grape, which is really not my favorite smell. So I don't know if I will use these, but maybe I'll give them to someone for Christmas. According to the spoiler card here, these are Warcross inspired wax melts. So that's really cool. But without further ado, let's get into the September haul. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Megan, and today we're doing a September book haul. So first I'm going to start with my book box books so that we can just get through those. You can check the description down below for a timestamp on when this section will end, so you can skip straight ahead to pre-orders and the other books I received this month if you're not interested in the book box books. However, I am going to start with one August book. It did arrive late, and that was the Bookish Box's Star Daughter. In this book, we are following a girl who is half human and half celestial being, and she has decided to remain with her father in the human world and remain as a human. However, one day she has hurt her father, and the only way to restore him to his full health is to be a celestial being. Our main character is then prompted to join the Celestial Games to decide who will now be the ruler of the Heaven House or House of the Heavens or something like that. And we are following her journey so that she can restore her father to his full health, because she loves him, obviously, and will do anything for him. It is a book inspired by Hindu mythology, and I'm very excited to get into it. I believe this is like my third or fourth copy of it. Next is the book I received in Owlcrate. It was Horrid by Christina Lino. I'm actually reading it right now, and I took the dust jacket off. That is why I'm just holding the dust jacket right now, but I did want to share the cover. It is a little bit different. It's got a whiter feel with red roses as opposed to the black roses. And in this book, we are following Jane and Ruth. Jane is the daughter of Ruth, who is from a large estate in Maine. And after her father dies and they're forced into a low-income situation, they're forced to move back home and restore the estate that Ruth is from. However, one day, Jane discovers a room, and Ruth starts to notice that Jane is spending a lot of time in this room, only to discover that things aren't quite what they seem as they were when she left. And I believe it's a ghost story. It's definitely super creepy. The very first page, I know it's not a spoiler because it's literally the first page, it talks about our main character eating a book. Like, not like consuming the words, like literally tearing pages out and eating the book. I mean, pretty crazy. So it's definitely perfect for this October spooky season, and yeah. Next, I got the same book in 3 different book boxes, so I'm only going to talk about the synopsis once. But that book was Fable, which was probably my most, if not second to most anticipated release of the year. It was a tie kind of between Fable and Addie LaRue, which both came out right around the same time, about 1 month apart, and I was ecstatic for both. So Fable tells a story of a girl named Fable who was left on an island called the Island of Thieves by her father in order to prove herself in the world. Fable is a dredger, which is someone who dives into the ocean and digs up gems and lost treasure from shipwrecks and that kind of thing to make money for the ship. And we are following her journey and using this skill to barter herself off the island. When she finally barters herself off, she comes into the crew of West, and this crew has a secret that she has yet to figure out. There is so much seafaring fun, and it's the perfect setting for fall, and I love the characters. The romance was perfect to me, and it did not disappoint as most anticipated or tied for most anticipated of the year. I cannot wait for Namesake, and this was incredible. But I did get 3 copies of it in a book box. I also got my own copy personalized pre-ordered. So the first copy is the Bookish Box copy. It comes signed and with an alternative dust jacket on the inside. Here's what that looks like. Next was the real Bookish copy. It didn't have any special features. It was just the regular hardback edition. But honestly, I'm okay with that because this will probably be the one that I annotate. And finally was our Fairy Loot edition. Very different from the other editions, as you can see. It also came with some beautiful artwork, and it has blue sprayed edges. It's just really gorgeous. It's a lot smaller, which was interesting. At first I didn't really like the cover, but it has grown on me, so I'm really happy to own this edition. Next was the Illumicrate September book, which was A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This is a special edition in that it is this matte gold kind of featured cover, and it is signed, and it has blue sprayed edges. And this is the story. I'm just going to read the description right here because I think it says it better than I ever could. Enter a school of magic unlike any you have ever encountered. There are no teachers, no holidays, friendships are purely strategic, and the odds of survival are never equal. Once you're inside, there are only 2 ways out. You graduate or you die. Next is the Lit Joy September book, which was The Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth Nix. This is a beautiful edition. It did have an inside the cover dust jacket, and this is what that looks like. And it also came with this beautiful little art card. I also feel like this one has a really great blurb that describes it, but it says, authorized to kill and sell books. It's about spies as bookstore sellers or bookstore managers / spies and undercover killer assassin people. So it sounds super interesting. I'm very intrigued to see where this goes. Next is These Vengeful Hearts by Catherine Lauren, and this was the Beacon Book Box September book. And this synopsis, I just read it, it feels very much like Mean Girls in fantasy. So we are following this high school system in which the popular girls are known as the Red Court, and they are the purveyors of all things good and bad in this school system. And our main character knows firsthand how awful they can be. They actually caused her older sister to become paralyzed. So 16-year-old Ember has decided to take on the Red Court from the inside out. Next was the Unplugged Book Box of the September month. I don't know why I said it that way, but it was Eventide by Sarah Goodman, and this is also pitched as a really great story for October. It is Family Secrets Never Stay Buried. We are following 2 sisters who were orphaned, and when they were put up for like foster care or adoption, only the younger sister was taken. So Verity, our main character, an older sister, has indentured herself as a farmhand to stay close to her family. However, in this small town that they were taken to, some secrets about her family have started to become unburied, and it gets a little weird. The next few books are from book boxes, but they were special editions or separate orders as opposed to coming in the monthly boxes, and they were both from Fairy Loot. The first was A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. In this, we are following Malik, whose sister was abducted, and in order to save his sister, he has to assassinate the Crown Princess. And we are also following the Crown Princess. So it's a hate to love or enemies to lovers. And we have West African folklore, I think, is the inspiration. And I've heard very good things about this one. And finally is the I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Davabad trilogy, which is the City of Brass, the Kingdom of Copper, and the Empire of Gold. And these editions are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at those stenciled edges. And this is a story or trilogy built on the phrase, be careful what you wish for. Next are a stack of books I got either in the clearance section of Books A Million, or recently I've discovered and heard from others that the Dollar Tree has pretty good titles out right now. Totally crazy and random, but check your local Dollar Tree if you have one. Funnily enough, I did get 2 different books that were from the same series, but I didn't realize it because I bought them at different times. And this one's paperback and this one's hardback. This is A Curious Beginning and this is A Perilous Undertaking. And these are part of the Veronica Speedwell mystery series. I don't want to read too much into it because I feel like often when you read the synopsis of a mystery, it can kind of give away what's going to happen. So I'm going to leave this one up to interpretation for when I read it. Next, I got this adorable middle grade series. It says it is called Digging for Treble by Linda Fairstein, and this is from the Devlin Quick Mysteries. It looks like a cute little middle grade mystery series, and it's a dinosaur dig, a fantastic find, a secret that's been buried far too long, and the brave, unstoppable girl who's determined to figure out the truth. Devlin Quick. And I believe this is our Devlin Quick girl right here, so I love a good middle grade with a female mystery detective main character. So it also looks kind of like a Night at the Museum sort of vibe, so I'm digging it. So the next is also a series that I bought at separate times. It was Forest of a Thousand Lanterns and then Kingdom of the Blazing Phoenix. And is it just me or do these look nothing alike? They're the same series. This is the sequel. These look nothing alike. Anyways, Forest of a Thousand Lanterns follows the story of a girl who is destined to be empress, but only if she succumbs to the darkness within her. Next is The Dreamwood by Heather Meckley. In this, we are following Lucy, who has recently discovered her father has gone missing on his research expedition. So she essentially drops out, or doesn't drop out, but like just escapes from boarding school and goes on the hunt for her father. However, she has to go through the Dreamwood for this, and she meets princesses, sea serpents, and terrifying creatures along the way. Next, I finally finished my And I Darken series. It's the trilogy that is based on Vlad the Impaler. And finally, from the bargain section, I got Slayer, and this is by Kirsten White as well, and it is a Buffy the Vampire retelling. Next are my pre-orders for the month. The first was The Silvered Serpents by Rashani Chakshi. This is the sequel to The Gilded Wolves, and The Gilded Wolves is very similar to Six of Crows. However, it has more mythology, and there's actual riddles in the book, and it has great representation for autism or people on the spectrum, and I really enjoyed that book, so I'm excited to pick up The Silver Serpents and see what happens with these characters next. Next is Well Played, which is the side series / companion novel to Well Met. Well Met is a romance in the setting of a Renaissance fair in which we are following 2 main characters, and in real life they hate each other, but as the Renaissance characters they are in love and they don't realize along the way until later. Next is Legend Born by Tracy Dion, and this is pitched as a Black Girl Magic King Arthur retelling. So it's a contemporary King Arthur retelling in which we're following a girl who's going to a new school after her mother died, and one day when she comes across a site she really shouldn't have seen, a magical society tries to erase her memory, but instead they unlock memories she never knew she had, and now she has like superpowers and stuff, so it looks really cool. Next is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, and this tells a story of a boy who goes to talk to a loved one that has recently passed away. I forget if he was talking to or resurrecting or something along those lines, but accidentally brings about the popular boy instead, and the popular boy refuses to leave. I believe this has transgender and LGBTQIA+ rep. Next, I got the From Blood and Ash and Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, and I bought these purely on an impulse buy because I've seen them talked about so much. This is a series by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and it tells the story of a girl who is a maiden, and she falls in love with her like guardian or bodyguard, I believe, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. Those weren't pre-orders. Kingdom of Flesh and Fire was, but I lumped in From Blood and Ash because it is part of the same series. Next are just some random books I picked up. First we have V.E. Schwab's City of Ghosts and Tunnel of Bones. This is a middle grade spooky series, and we are following Cass, who almost drowned. So now she has the ability to pull back the veil and enter the world of the spirits. Next we have Love and War by Melissa De La Cruz, and this is the sequel or part of the same series as Alex and Eliza, which is a Hamilton retelling. Then we have the Kiss Quotient, which is the first book in the, oh gosh, what is it? First book in the Bride Test. So I wanted to read the Bride Test in 2020, but Kiss Quotient apparently comes first, so I needed to pick this one up. And in this we are following Stella, who is Asperger's, and she hires someone to help her get over like the physical touch kind of fear or phobia, and it's a romance, so I'm sure you can guess what happens next. Next I got The Disasters by M.K. England. In this we are following Nax, who is part of a space academy and one day is forcefully kicked out and is confused about what's going on. But on his one-way trip back to Earth, the academy is hijacked and taken over by terrorists, and Nex and two others are the only witnesses to this world's biggest crime, and they become the scapegoats to the terrorists. So now they are being framed and chased for the world's biggest crime, and they are on the mission to reveal the truth. Next, I picked up An Ember in the Ashes. This is the Barnes & Noble hardback exclusive edition, and I think I've said this before, but I started the series collecting in paperback, then realized that the paperback's gonna take longer to come out, so I ordered the hardback, and then realized I didn't have the hardback, but then this came out, so I'm kind of in a weird phase of collecting this series. This is by Sabati here though, and in this we are following Elias and Laya, and Laya's brother has been taken hostage, and she now must spy within the Empire to gain trust in order for the rebels to free her brother. Next is Fury Born, and I really don't know much about this, but Katie from Katie's Book Nook loves it, and Lightbringer was just recently released, so stay tuned for the October book haul. But I bought this because she was raving about it and said that no one else loves it, so I wanted to read it and see if I loved it so I could rave with her. But I believe this is the story of a girl who is either destined to be the Sun Queen or the Blood Queen, and it is like deciding which path she's going to take or something like that. I really don't know, but I'm really excited to get into it. Next I got Voices, The Final Hours of Joan of Arc by David Elliott, and I believe this is just a story in verse, and it's literally what it says, The Final Hours of Joan of the Arc. Next I picked up The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen, and this tells the story of Lara, who was sent to be an undercover bride and take over and be essentially a traitor to the throne and kill her soon-to-be husband, the prince. However, once she got into the Bridge Kingdom, she is starting to uncover some truths and wonders who the real evil is. Next is The Falconer by Elizabeth May, and I do want to keep this one a little bit more secret as well because it was recommended to me, and I love going into books a little bit unknown, so I'm not going to delve too much into this, but I'll read the little blurb. It says, "One girl's nightmare is this girl's fairy tale." Next is The Library of Fates, and I'm going to be honest, I bought this one purely off a cover buy. I mean, look how gorgeous it is. But in this, we are following our main character, who has agreed to a betrothal that she's not too fond of, and her kingdom is taken over. So she is sent on the quest to discover the Library of All Things, or the Library of Fates, that has the power to rewrite their histories. And it just sounds so good. I mean, look at this cover art. I can't get over it, but kind of match it. Oh, speaking of, do you love my Baby Yoda shirt? Because I do. But yes, back to the book. It looks so good. And last, but of course, certainly not least, I picked up the graphic novel format of Wonder Woman Warbringer. And if you watched my most recent book wrap-up or September wrap-up, you will know that I read Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo as the novel, and I'm obsessed with Wonder Woman. I'm gonna have an entire Wonder Woman shelf, and this is going to be an addition to it. So I'm excited, and it's just the exact same story. So if you aren't necessarily looking forward to reading the story, or if you have a piqued interest in the story but not sure, you could pick up the graphic novel and read it. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that September haul. It was really interesting going through the editing process because I forgot a lot of those synopses, and now I want to read them all again. So I need to get to some of those soon because they look really, really, really good. But otherwise, that is all for today. Tune in tomorrow for my Disney pin swap and Christmas decorating vlog. So yeah, that's all I have for this evening. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll check in with you in my next one. See you tomorrow. Bye, friends.